Hi, Mama. So, I wanted to talk to you about the immediate changes that happen after childbirth. Now, it's not really common knowledge because there's not been a lot of studies done about it, and basically, postpartum traditions from many cultures hasn't really transferred very well to Western society. So, the body actually undergoes massive changes in many ways after the pregnancy and then the shock of birth. Now, even if you've had a natural birth with little to no interventions, the body can still go, does still go into shock because it's a massive thing that's happening. There's so much change happening in the body in order for the birthing process. So, some women experience shaking after they've given birth, and that is a completely normal way of the body releasing the shock. So it's like when you see a deer being chased by a lion, for example, and then they sort of get out of the way of danger, but they quiver for a while. Once that quivering has stopped, the fear has released from their body. So our natural way is also shaking, but we often suppress that. But a postpartum, like a mum after they've had their baby, may notice that they are shaking quite a bit, and it's not usually because they're cold, it's just releasing that shock. So that's completely normal, as I mentioned. However, we need to support the body with this massive change. So there's a few things that do change in the body. The digestive system is one of them, and that is simply because when the shock of the process of birth happens, then the body goes into sort of like a survival mode and wants to stop bleeding and start healing and produce breast milk, so the survival of the baby. And so the digestive system, as a result, starts to sort of like close down a little bit, and it's not producing the same amount of digestive gastric juices and enzymes that it would normally. Okay, and then there's hormonal fluctuations, which are normal as long as the body is getting its nutritional needs met. So it can lead to sort of an imbalance, a not normal imbalance, if you're not getting those nutritional needs and those things that the body really needs after having a baby. So there's been, as I said, a real lack of studies and research around this, and it's through the teachings that I've had as postpartum nutrition training that I've done that I've learnt so much more after having my own 5 babies, and things now are adding up to what I experienced. So if you don't start receiving the nutritional needs and the warming foods immediately after childbirth, basically, it can lead to, and often does, it's becoming so common, and it's definitely not normal, it's becoming so common with women having such issues as gas, bloating, not digesting foods well, so reflux, which is, those 3 things is what I had been having for years particularly after my 5th baby. Gallbladder issues, and then later down the track, it leads to thyroid, autoimmune, there's depression, anxiety. There's just so many things that a woman becomes susceptible to if not given the right postpartum care. So it has a real impact on long-term health, not just the short term. So basically there's things that can add to it as well. So if you have had any medical interventions at all, and even some medications on top of that is more stress to the body. If you're recovering from a cesarean scar or anything like that. So just that's sort of on top of the already shock and healing that body needs to do after having a baby. And, you've got to think about this. Where the placenta was, we can't see inside our womb, but where the placenta was, you're left with a gaping wound, so big, and the body needs to immediately stop the bleeding and start repairing that. So it'd be different if we could see that size wound on the outside of our body, right? We'd be like, whoa, we need to take care and rest. But because we don't see it, a lot of mums are pushing themselves, thinking that, oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm going to bounce back just fine. So the first 6, 8, 12 weeks of rest and nutritional support, and physical support and emotional support is really, really essential. So you take the time to create a birth plan, but how many are creating a postpartum care plan? It gets forgotten about. And it is the most vital part, because you're looking after 2 people, yourself and your little baby. And I know you're still looking after the little one when they're in utero as well. But now your body is really going through that process of the milk production and, really hands-on work. So there's some basic vital things that a mother does need immediately after birth, and that's warm or hot foods, not spicy, just as in temperature-wise, warm or hot foods. Cold foods are a no-no. So cold foods will stop circulation from happening. The warm foods bring circulation to the parts of the body that need healing. You want the meals to be easy to digest, so keeping them really simple. You want your meals to be very high quality proteins and fats as well. Okay, and avoiding things like cold smoothies and salads. So your digestive enzymes or your digestive fire is low, and it takes more enzymes to break down the cold foods like salads and smoothies. And also having the right support in place as well. So you've got people to help you hands-on things, with your hands-on activities and chores as well. Often people will just rely on their partner. But be very careful, because the partner can often burn out as well, particularly if you have other children that you're looking after. So make sure you've got extra people on board that you are happy to have around to just come in and do their little helping errands, and make sure that you are resting and not sort of using your energy to chat to them the whole time. So yes, having a plan in place is essential. And you can also, so I'm just checking my notes here, having your nutrients, the nutrition that you need, and having your nutrients replenished is really key. So you might be, just imagine for a moment actually, if you've got this in place, what that would mean for you in terms of the weight off your shoulders, like this, that one thing that you don't have to be worrying about or trying to figure out, what you need to eat, how you need to be cared for. So that would just it would have felt so amazing for me, particularly because when I had my 5th baby, I was already doing a lot of raw vegan during the pregnancy, and there's nothing wrong with raw vegan if you've got the digestive enzymes and the health to break those foods down. But I didn't know that at the time, so I was doing a lot of raw vegan, and because I had a summer baby, and it was a very straightforward, natural home birth in water, quite easy. And because I continued eating those cold foods, those smoothies, I was having a lot of green smoothies, I ended up with the digestive issues, the reflux, constantly having to have bicarb in water or apple cider vinegar in water, which only really helped sometimes and to a degree. Then our gallbladder attacks. I had 2 of those, which, according to doctors and scans and everything, my gallbladder was fine, but I know what I experienced, and it was extremely painful. And just other, health issues with energy being low, and other things as well. So that was, as a result of not having these warming, easy to digest foods. I now understand that. And so this is what I'm here for. I want to help other mums not have to go through those pains and the ups and the downs with the moods and the energy just dropping, and the other health issues like the bloating and the digestive stuff. And that's just sort of like mostly short term. Long term, if it's not addressed, it gets worse. So how would that feel if you could have someone to take care of some of these meals, or even just have a meal plan available? This is what I do. I help mums come back to nutrient repletion, to reclaim their vitality, okay, and to be able to have the joy and the energy and be the mum that you want to be. So we go through this plan and have you eating nutrient-dense, easy-to-digest foods. You've got a shopping list. You've got 6 weeks of recipes. You can share with your family and friends so that they can make these nourishing meals for you and drop them off. You get the support and the guidance when going through the program, bringing these foods to what you particularly require, and even around any cultural beliefs, whether you're vegan or you can eat meat, then we can adapt the program for your specific needs. If it's something that you want to learn more about, if you're curious about this, then pop me a message and I can send you a booking link, and we can have a free consultation. So I'll pop that in the comments, the how to contact me. But otherwise, even if you are further, like months down the track, or even a few years down the track like I was, and you're experiencing this low energy, the gas, the bloating, the other issues, you just know basically that you just haven't been the same since you've had your baby, then let's correct your digestive system and get your hormones back in balance and reset your nervous system and just bring your body back to balance, and hopefully even feeling better than you were before you were pregnant. This is Tara at Postpartum Nurturing. Thanks for joining me, and please reach out if you've got any questions, and I look forward to hearing from you and chatting to you soon so that we can really have you reclaiming your vitality. Many blessings.